Hello, my name is Lois and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be doing a book haul. I've not done a book haul video for ages. I feel like I don't buy as many books as I used to. I went through a bit of a phase when I started this channel that I bought a lot of books secondhand from charity shops, but sometimes they weren't in the best condition and then I wouldn't end up reading them, or I would just buy too many. So now I'm a lot more choosy about which books I buy. I also don't like spending money and I don't like having too many things. I enjoy getting rid of things just as much as getting things. So yeah, but anyway, seeing as it was Christmas not long ago, I have a few books from Christmas and I have a few books that I did buy secondhand as well that I was 100% sure that I wanted. I think also in my head I've been trying to get through the books I already have, or I've been listening to books on Audible, so there hasn't been too much of a need to buy that many books. But I would say that in this video, quite a lot of the books that I have chosen are very aesthetic. I made an effort that the books that I do buy, I want them to look very beautiful, because books, as well as when you sit down and read them, they're also there on your bookshelf. They're a kind of decoration, and that story is just kind of part of your space. So I've chosen books and stories that I would like to be part of my space and environment. So with that, let's get into the video. So first I'm going to go through the books I got for Christmas, and here we have The Tale of Jack and the Fallen Giants by Jonathan Peugeot and Eloise Scherer. A poor boy, a handful of magical beans, a beanstalk, an army of giants. It's a story every child knows, or is it? From the mind of Jonathan Peugeot and a storytelling tradition older than the Brothers Grimm comes Jack and the Fallen Giants. This numinous retelling of a beloved classic allows modern readers to reclaim the beauty of this well-beloved fairy tale through insightful storytelling and iconic illustrations. First of all, the cover is very beautiful. I love the gold that you have around the border and the font. So I think this book really embodies that vision I have of having a very beautiful bookshelf with the stories kind of being part of the environment. And the cover itself has a lot of symbolism on it as well. So on the bottom of the cover we have things like weapons, clothing, you have the beans, and then as you go up we have things like the harp, a crown, these, I think, are they diamonds or crystals, a bird. So I think it's very clever that even the pictures are telling a story, which I suppose is something you would expect from the work of Jonathan Peugeot, who is an icon carver. So you have this kind of representation of a search for meaning and value. Jack goes up the beanstalk for the first time and finds riches and gold. The second time he goes up he finds the source of this, so he's able to find the thing that makes the wealth, and so he's always provided for materially. But then he's not satisfied with this, so he goes up a third time where he finds the harp, which has some kind of spiritual symbolism there. So that's just an overview of some of the symbolism Jonathan Peugeot has talked about with Jack and the Beanstalk. But really this is just a very beautiful retelling that is faithful to the original story, whilst also highlighting some of the symbolic aspects. Here's one of the very beautiful illustrations by Eloise Scherer. You can really see that she is heavily influenced by Tolkien in her work. And this is the only one of the books in this book haul that I've actually read, and I really enjoyed it. I decided just to go through it in one sitting, and it was just very enjoyable and cozy. So if you're interested in fairy tales or symbolism, or you know any children that might enjoy it, then I would really recommend it. So the next book that I got for Christmas, which I have mentioned in my devotional recommendations video, is Our Church Speaks by Ben Lansing and DJ Marotta, which is an illustrated devotional of saints from every era and place. And this book is just filled with beautiful illustrations of, I suppose you say, lowercase saints. A lot of these are not canonized saints. Some of them are, some of them aren't. And they just have an illustration with a halo, a quote from the person, a commemoration date, just information about them and what happened in their life, a relevant scripture, a meditation, a prayer. I just love how this book kind of combines history, art, theology. It's just a really encouraging and enjoyable book to read. I think I've read about 3 of the saints so far. I think there's one for tomorrow. I really like that they have commemoration dates. I've enjoyed before reading about saints, seeing about feast days. I think it's a really encouraging thing that there are dates to remember different people from throughout Christian history. I feel like it's a really beautiful thing to keep their memory alive, but also to take encouragement from their works and their lives and how Christ changed them, the different circumstances Christians have lived in. So I feel like this book is very educational, grounding, and spiritually encouraging as well. So yes, I'd really recommend Our Church Speaks, both the book, and they also have an Instagram page, possibly other socials as well. Okay, the last book that I got for Christmas is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Now, I've never read this book, but I did used to really enjoy watching the movie as a child, back in the day before Netflix and Amazon Prime. Well, okay, we did have videos, but mainly when I was growing up it was more DVDs. And I remember you'd always have to go to like the DVD cupboard and just watch what was there. And I remember one of the films, I think it was at my nana's house, was The Secret Garden. So I have strong memories of the story in the film, but I've not read the book. So this was gifted to me by, I'm not sure if it was my brother or his girlfriend, but either way, it's a very lovely gift. And I have a few other books from this publisher called Chilton. So they're very nice hardback books with very nice kind of floral decoration. So yes, I feel like a lot of the books I've got here have got some kind of shiny gold on them. So yeah. Orphaned Mary Lennox is sent to live with her uncle at Misselthwaite Manor, a remote mansion on the Yorkshire moors. She is a lonely child and miserable until she stumbles upon the key to an overgrown secret garden that has been locked for 10 years. The discovery brings a miraculous change in Mary and leads to Misselthwaite Manor giving up its dark secret. So now I'm moving on to books that I have bought secondhand, and the first one is The Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri. Now this is probably one of the most beautiful out of the books I've bought. It has a very lovely cover, very nice spine, nice back. I'm pretty sure this is originally an American book because the price is in dollars on the back. And sometimes it's nice to be able to see copies of books from different countries. I was slightly disappointed because this book was advertised as being in new condition. However, in the front you can see that it is kind of damaged, so that was quite disappointing, and I suppose that is a problem with Vinted, is sometimes things are not correctly advertised. I've been wanting to find a really nice copy of The Divine Comedy for a while. I used to have a second-hand copy that I'd got from a bookshop that was in bad condition. The cover wasn't that nice. In fact, I really regretted buying it. So I was just looking out for one that I felt embodied at least the reputation of the story, because I've not actually read it yet. But I'm quite interested in the medieval period, the medieval worldview, and I don't know, I feel like The Divine Comedy is kind of an essential book in that regard. So I'm very excited to have found this very lovely copy. I think it has some illustrations in as well. Here is an illustration from Purgatorio. I can't find a blurb on this copy, so I'll just read a short bit of the introduction. Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy is not only one of the most influential works in the Western canon of literature, but an invaluable document of medieval mentality. Inspired by the Roman poet Virgil's epic poem, the Aeneid, hopefully that's pronounced right, sorry if not, by the medieval theology epitomised by St. Thomas Aquinas, and by the turbulent times he himself lived through, Dante wove an intricate tapestry of society, sin, and redemption, crafted as a travelogue through heaven and hell. It is one of the classics of world literature, and one whose influence continues today. Have you read the Divine Comedy? If so, how was your experience of reading it, and how would you recommend approaching such a iconic and somewhat intimidating book? So next up, I bought a copy of Dracula by Bram Stoker. Now, I have read this book, but I was using a copy shared by everyone in my house, and it was a bit battered. I didn't love the cover that much, and I just wanted to find a copy of the book where I felt that the cover kind of embodied the novel. A lot of copies I felt were a bit camp, maybe too heavily influenced by pop culture, and I just wanted a copy that felt more like the story. And I found this one, and I just thought, it's quite simple. I like the colour. I'm trying to work out where the cover is meant to be. I think from a distance it looks like it could be a castle because you can just see buildings, but on closer inspection I think perhaps it could be some buildings in London or Whitby where a lot of the story is based. And it just doesn't say too much, the cover. It's quite subtle. You just have this mysterious, foggy looking place, and it just makes you want to open the book and find out more, rather than just being, I don't know, a bit tacky like I find a lot of them are. It says that this copy was printed in Canada, and I think that is really quite a strong advantage of shopping online, secondhand. I think both of the last two books have been bought on Vinted, so you can kind of type in the book you want, the condition you want, the price you're willing to pay, and just kind of scroll through and see the different copies that people are selling. So that is very nice. It has the quote on the back: "All that die from the preying of the undead become themselves undead and prey on their kind." As fledgling English lawyer Jonathan Harker treks into the Carpathian Mountains to complete a real estate transaction, frightened peasants warn him of horrible dangers that await him. Harker, terrified by eerie events along the way, finally meets his client, Count Dracula, a tall, gaunt old man with a surprisingly powerful handshake. Harker soon realizes that he's a prisoner in Dracula's sumptuously furnished castle, a castle strangely devoid of mirrors. I honestly think Dracula is probably one of my favourite novels that I've ever read. It's just a story that sticks with me for different reasons, both from the horror of Dracula, the incredible settings, one of them being obviously the castle, which I love. We also have Whitby, which I visited on holiday a few times, so I have that kind of connection with the place. And you also have the bravery and friendship and virtue of the protagonists, and the style of the book being written in letters and diary entries. For me, it's just a really special book. And the last book that I have is The Cambridge Companion to Gothic Fiction, edited by Gerald E. Hogel. And I wasn't particularly looking for this book, I just kind of came across it. I think because I just bought Dracula. I'd seen Nosferatu not too long ago at the cinema. I'm just quite interested and intrigued in the Gothic genre, so I thought it would be nice to, I don't know, learn a little bit more about it. 14 world-class experts on the Gothic provide thorough accounts of this haunting to horrifying genre from the 1760s to the end of the 20th century. Essays explore the connections of Gothic fictions to political and industrial revolutions, the realistic novel, the theatre, romantic and post-romantic poetry, nationalism and racism from Europe to America, colonized and post-colonial populations, the rise of film, the struggles between high and popular culture, and changing attitudes towards human identity, life and death, sanity and madness. And the book seems to be in very good condition, and I'm just excited to have it on my bookshelf and hopefully read it one day. So those are all the books in my book haul. I hope you enjoyed the video and let me know what you think down in the comments. See you in the next one. Bye!